Once upon a time, there was a beautiful kingdom where a king and queen lived in a magnificent castle. The queen gave birth to a darling little baby girl. They were so happy. As soon as the baby arrived, it started snowing outside, and the queen said, "My dear husband, we shall name her Snowwhite." And that's how the little girl got her name. Sadly, the mother died when Snowwhite was very young, and her father remarried. But this time, he married a woman who he thought was nice. But guess what? She wasn't. She was secretly an evil witch. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I am the prettiest of all of the women in the land. No one will ever take my place. I am the queen and will be forever, said the evil queen as she looked in the full-length mirror. The mirror always answered back, "Of course, my lady. You are the prettiest in the land. No one has your beauty. No one ever can." Years passed, and Snow White grew up to be such a kind-hearted, beautiful woman, despite the evil queen always looking at her with a jealous eye. The evil queen walks over to her full-length mirror and stands in front of it once again. Mirror, mirror on the wall, aren't I the prettiest of them all?
Oh, my dear lady, you are pretty, but I must be honest. Snow White is now the prettiest in the land. No one has her beauty. No one ever can.
So, the evil queen started throwing a fit. She couldn't stand the thought of someone being prettier than her. It didn't take long for the evil queen to become so jealous that she called one of the hunters that worked for her to come to her room at once.
"You rang for me, my royal queen?"
asked the hunter. "Listen to me, and listen to me closely. I am ordering you to take Snow White to the woods and get rid of her once and for all," demanded the queen.
"You mean you want me to?"
"Yes, I want her dead. Do you hear me, you worthless fool? Do as you're told, now!" My. I can't believe what I am reading. How could anyone be so cruel and heartless? Oh, the nerve of that evil queen. Why, I ought to give her a piece of my mind. Oh, let's get back to the story. Late that night, the hunter convinced Snow White to come with him deep into the woods to take care of a sick deer. Snow White was so concerned that she had no hesitation to go with the hunter. She noticed the hunter was cold and shivering as they went deeper into the woods.
"Excuse me, Mr. Hunterman. I see you are shivering. Let me lend you my cape so you can warm up a bit before we continue on."
This made the hunter so sad. He knew what a kind heart Snow White had, and he didn't want harm to come to her.
"Snow White, I must tell you the truth. Run far away from here, as the evil queen has ordered me to kill you. But I can't do such a terrible deed,"
cried the hunter. And with that, Snow White, trembling with fear, ran as fast as she could through the forest. She didn't know where she was going, but she knew she had to get away from her dreadful stepmother as fast as she could.
"I have run all night. I am so very tired. Oh, a house. Maybe they have a cup of water for me to drink and a place to rest, if only for a moment."
I am Dan.
My name is Wyatt. I am Abel.
My name is Robert. Frank and Scott.
My name is Dot.
From that moment, the seven dwarfs and Snow White got along perfectly. In fact, Dan, Wyatt, Abel, Robert, Frank, Scott, and Dot invited Snow White to stay with them. She was thrilled.
I will do all the cooking, cleaning, and I will even make your little beds while you're away working.
The seven dwarfs were gold miners, and they all loved this living arrangement. You know, sometimes I wish I had someone to cook, clean, and make my bed. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? I could eat chocolates and sip on my raspberry tea all day. Oh boy, my mind is wandering again. All right, back to the story. Back at the castle, the evil queen posed in front of the mirror yet again. Mirror, mirror, on the wall, aren't I the prettiest of them all? She expected the mirror to say she was indeed the prettiest, because she assumed Snow White was dead.
Oh, my dear lady, you are pretty. But I must be honest, Snow White is now the prettiest in the land. No one has her beauty. No one ever can.
And where is this Snow White living? Asked the evil queen.
You can find her through the forest. You must travel a great distance to a small village called Dwarf Estates. Look for the little house. You will see the beautiful Snow White living with the seven dwarfs,
explained the mirror. The evil queen came up with a deadly plan. Using her magic powers as a witch, she transformed herself into an old beggar woman, and she took a basket filled with apples. But one of the apples, she knew just the one, was a poisoned apple reserved for one special girl, Snow White. Now, before the seven dwarfs left for work, they warned Snow White.
A little bird visited us last night and warned us that your stepmother is coming for you. So please, Snow White, don't answer the door. Don't talk to strangers. Don't answer door. Don't talk to strangers. Don't answer door. Please, Snow White.
Snow White listened to the dwarfs and waved goodbye as the dwarfs all lined up and left for work.
Oh, hello there, little bunny. And good morning to you too. I love all my animal friends. Now I need to go make some stew.
Just as she was opening the door to go into the little house, she heard someone walk up behind her.
Hello there, beautiful girl. Could I offer you an apple?
Asked the old lady.
If you don't have any money to buy one, it's quite all right. I would like to give you this apple because you are so beautiful,
said the old witch.
Yes.
Snow White was so kind. She felt a little sorry for the old woman, so she talked with her, and Snow White took the apple and even paid her a shiny piece of gold that the dwarfs had given her. Only one bite was taken, and that apple was so poisoned that with one little nibble, Snow White fell to the ground. Although she appeared dead, she was only under a spell that could only be broken by a kiss from a true prince.
Finally, I will be the most beautiful woman in the world, and I will remain the most beautiful forever,
screamed the witch. After a hard day of work, the dwarfs came back home and found Snow White lying on the ground, appearing to be dead, and they couldn't bring her back to life. They cried and were so very sad. Their hearts were broken.
She is too beautiful to be buried.
We will make her a glass coffin so we can see her every day.
She can lie in her coffin. We will bring her flowers every morning.
She will always be loved,
cried the dwarfs. Days passed, and there was a young prince who was passing through the forest. And as soon as he saw the beautiful girl lying in the coffin, he refused to believe she was dead.
Who is this beautiful woman? What has happened here?
Asked the handsome prince. The dwarfs told him what had happened, and this saddened the prince. He asked them to open up the coffin. He bent down and kissed her red lips. At that moment, the spell was broken. Snow White opened her eyes, and the two fell in love at first sight. Well, guess what? The prince asked Snow White to marry him. She said yes. The dwarfs were invited to the wedding at the castle, and they all lived happily ever after. Woo! What a story! Oh, I bet you're asking what happened to that wicked old queen, right? Well, she asked the mirror yet again. Mirror, mirror, on the wall, am I the prettiest of them all?
Listen here, you old nasty witch. Don't ask me questions, for your heart is evil, and I will answer you no more.
And with that, the mirror shattered into pieces. This upset the evil queen so much that she fell over dead. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the story. And remember, being beautiful on the inside is so much more important than being beautiful on the outside. Have a kind heart, my friend. Look for more stories on Ruby's Storytime. See you next time. Bye for now.